find is I got more experience on the streets better than at school. Simple.
Interesting. And thus you became a chartered vendor. But let's go back to the beginning. Life in Watsomba, life as a young rural boy. What was that like? And if you can put yourself back in that little rural boy's mind space, what were you dreaming of? Like
I grew up in Watsomba with my father and mother. So once probably during holidays we'd go to Bulawayo, we'd visit Harare. But yeah, it was tough. It wasn't easy growing on the other side of the country. On the countryside, things are tough. You're going to school 6-7 kilometers. Yeah, that's the life. Yeah.
What did you dream of the most as a young boy?
Yeah, I just thought, I just said, I want to change the way people think. Ever since when I was young, I think I used to have some different way of thinking. If people are going south, sometimes I'll be going north alone. So I'm not the person who says probably if the 99% is saying this, hence they are correct. Ever since when I was young, going to school, going to secondary, yeah, that's who I am.
Even up to now, that mindset of you're an independent thinker. Let's call you that.
Yeah.
You have your own way of thinking.
Exactly.
Sometimes against the majority.
Yeah.
How has this turned out in your life? How would you say it's manifesting in your adult life and particularly in your business life? And also, I've mentioned before that on social media, people seem to tackle you a lot. Poster your viewpoints, your way of thinking, your way of doing business. Case in point, it is said via social media that your way of enrollment, or the way you enroll your staff at M&J Associates is unconventional. It's a bit different. How is this working out for you, and why do you choose those unconventional ways, and what are they?
Okay, I think it has worked out nice, because I think even right now we've built one of the most powerful consultants company in the country, and not only in Zimbabwe, we are also making a foot in Zambia, and we have been endorsed by the Zetara A, that's the Zambian Revenue Authority. Even here, actually, just yesterday, I had 2 trainings, 8 hours. People, they want to hear from me. And I think starting from January, we're booked almost each and every weekend. And sometimes I'm now behaving like a music artist. Probably I'm better booked than most of the artists in Zimbabwe. Yeah, and probably better paid as well.
I like that.
Yeah, but that's what is actually happening because of the different way of thinking. Because my content is targeting the 1%. I tell you, when you bring company owners here, just try to interview them and say, what is your biggest headache? I tell you, it's human resources.
Okay.
You have got a good vision, but finding the right people, it's a problem. So I said, hence, I read a lot. Last year, I think I read about 64 books. And this year, I'm actually targeting 100 books. So what I'm doing is not like it's coming from Mars. I'm not Elon Musk. It's coming from the people like Elon Musk. It's coming from the people like Grant Cardone, like Zig Ziglar, who have said, no, the desk interviews no longer work. You have to find other ways of recruiting people. Although, yes, people can come out and exaggerate it, try to throw some shade on it. But I tell you, I've got some of one of the best. If you want to see, most of the people, they want to poach my people. Most of the company owners, they like poaching my people. Almost on daily basis, I get a call from one of my guys who's saying, I've been offered this. I've been offered this. So if what we're doing is wrong, why are the people attracted? From what do they want from my guys? Yeah. So what we want to build the country. Africa, we're behind in several aspects. Right now it's a Sunday. You hardly see vehicles even in town because we are closed. And we've got 52 days which are going to close Saturday and Sunday. And we add about 16 holidays. But if you go to Dubai right now, 24 hours people are working. I just got a call from my friend from China. People are working, and hence that's why the economies are better. That's my way of thinking, and hence what I'm targeting. I want the 1% of the population to come and work for M&J. I only identify A players, and they're very difficult to find. You cannot find them through a desk interview. Sometimes you need to do unorthodox ways in order for you to find them.
What are some of these unorthodox ways as opposed to desk interviews?
For example, I can ask you to read a book, send a video.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes in the interview, think that I'm going to have a one-on-one interview. We have a group interview. Sometimes I say, I'm not the one who's going to eliminate the worst person. Eliminate yourselves. That's the way we do things. So it's all predictable. Our interview is never predictable.
Is it true that Anzo makamomaisa vanhu kubva kumarket square kusvika kuna 4th?
Yeah, that's a right question. And what I'll say, what we did was we're interviewing tax consultants. So what we do is we would say, go to Zimra, take a photo, so that we just know that, do you know where Zimra is?
Okay.
Do you know where NASA is? That's what we did.
Okay.
Whether they ran, whether they took a taxi, whether they took a bicycle, that's now their own funeral.
I see.
Yeah.
But back to your story.
But anyway, I don't, even if I actually even think of it, because I wish if I would also make them run in order for them to come for an interview. Because some of the stuff, like I had this other company owner just last week. He said 5 of his people were sick. It's the first month these people have started. 10 of them, 5 of them were down with flu. Are we getting it? Flu, then they're out. 2 days, 3 days, they're not at work. And the company was suffering losses because of that. So why you need also fit people in your company? I wish I could make them run.
Let's talk about life on the streets of Harare as a vendor. You say you learned a lot more on the streets as a vendor than you did from your studies. What were some of the highlights?
Okay. I think the major highlight was when a policeman came to me. Then I said, that was early 2009 when we just had introduced the US dollar. I don't know who introduced it. Some debate that is Honorable Chinamasa, some they say it's Honorable Tindabite. But anyway, the US dollar was introduced. So we're selling airtime cards in this case. So we'd sell them for $5, we sell them for $6. We add $1. Because why? We're actually getting them at $5 as well. So I sold these cards to a policeman. I didn't know that he was a policeman. And when he got back, they came from the camp with about 4 guys. Then they grabbed me. They wanted to arrest me because why? They said, why are you adding a markup? It's $5, but you're adding $6. I didn't know that the superintendent who was commanding Harare West was the one who required that airtime card. So I was in hot soup. Then they grabbed me. And unfortunately, it was a bit loose. So I ran. And I think the way I was running, I would give Usain Bolt run off his money. I think that's what I... Then I ran so fast because I had $300 airtime on me. And that was between me and poverty. Because I was just coming from restocking. So if all was taken, I was going to be out of business. So I ran, I put it away. Then they came back. They took me. And they beat, I think I was beaten 40 cards under my foot. Yeah, that was the highlight. And I was arrested several times, around 40-something times because of illegal vending. And another highlight was when we'd eat sugarcane. You know, when people eat sugarcane, those remains, they would throw them away and would pick them up. Because if they are hit, if those things are hit by sun, they will be sweet again.
Okay.
So we'd eat that during breakfast. And we didn't know the person who is actually eating the sugarcane. Hence, even right now, if I see sugarcane, I buy 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
You would pick up a sugarcane that has been chewed before.
Exactly.
And chew it again.
And chew it again.
Because yaro anezu.
Exactly.
And it's regained a bit of its. Oh.
and would wait until when probably it was in the afternoon.
Mm.
Would eat stale donuts, because that's what I was also selling. So I wouldn't eat stock. I would eat when it's now stale. That's when I would eat when it's everything is bought. Sometimes we just eat once a day. This was another highlight. The streets were tough, but they trained us to be who are we today.
18 minutes before we get to 3 o'clock, a fly on the wall with the chartered vendor today as he shares his life story, life on the streets. I've asked a lot of people this question and I've never got a satisfactory answer. Now that you're in better circumstances, in other words, we would actually say you've made it. You're well-to-do, you're an employer, you're a business person, and your company, like you were saying earlier, is doing very well. What is the value of suffering?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think, because if we say I don't see myself as I've done very, very well, I see like I've just built a foundation. We want to be in South Africa, I want to be in South Africa, this, I want to be in Malawi. But anyway, the value of suffering is, even right now, if someone is not there to clean my office, I can clean it. I can sweep, I can mop, I can do everything. Because why? It's not alien, it's not foreign. Because why? The value of suffering, it builds a character. Some of us, we don't look at what is happening in the economy. Some of us, we don't even care who is ruling the country. Some of us, we don't even entertain politics, negative news. What we just say is, okay, fine. Where are the opportunities? What's there in the economy? What can we take? What are the positives which are there? I always say to my team, even to my digital marketing team, I always say to them, please, when you see a message, better send something positive. Don't send something negative, because there's a lot of negativity in this world. But if you have actually gone through the school of suffering, especially street vending, it's not easy. The vendors are some of the toughest characters. You learn how to do things, because right now it's now simple. Even the way I work, I wake up at 3 o'clock. That's when I start working. And sometimes I end at 9. And I see it, I enjoy it, because it's now a passion. But why? Because we're groomed by the streets. We're supposed to be at corner Patrend and Willowville at 5 o'clock. So you're forced to actually wake at 3 a.m. So right now, even if it's 3 a.m. without an alarm, I wake up. Yeah, because it's now natural. But that value now, it was that value because I think God was preparing me for something big. That's what I believe in. When I look back now, sometimes when you're in the situation, you'll be crying. You're saying, I think I've been, my parents, why am I in this situation? You're coming from a boarding school, you're now a vendor, you were a teacher, you're now a vendor. But right now when I look back, I say, thank God. Because even if I face situation, I face rejection, I face that negative energy, I'm thick-skinned, because I'm prepared for that.
Now, that was your story. I like it. You're thick-skinned because you went through all these tough circumstances. But life is different. When we look at life is different now, maybe taking it back to the personal space, maybe as a father now, how are you raising your children? What aspects of that past life and the things that you have attained now, where do you draw the line? What's the balance? What's your life philosophy that you're passing on to your children?
Okay, like my kids, what I've told them, I say to them, don't target to be number one at school. It's not material. What is material is to learn life. Like I've taught my kid how to sell. Sometimes she goes with my books at school. She sells them. I get commission. And I even, because I think I'm actually even softer than the mother, because whenever they want something, they actually come to me. But I'm not saying they're supposed to go through the same things, because life was tough for me, and I want them to be very comfortable. I want them to enjoy life, but at the same time, I don't want them to be a bit spoiled. Because sometimes I've heard that tough men usually groom weaker children.
True.
So what I just try to do is to say, no, if I'm giving them a phone, so my oldest, my daughter is actually 10, and if I give them a phone, am I building them or I'm destroying them? They are now on YouTube, Sometimes the content which is there is not conducive for kids. So all these kind of things is that's what I do with them, and I don't want them to be very soft, and also I don't want to be also very tough on them. I want to be neutral, but at the same time I want to raise people who are going to take probably this vision to the next level, because the vision is big. Sometimes I'm not the one who's going to see it coming to pass, but probably it's them who are going to take it far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And coming to your work ethic, where you wake up at 3 in the morning and wake as late as 9 p.m., is do you think that's healthy? Work-life balance? How do you justify that?
Yeah, if you live in Africa, there's nothing called work-life balance, huh? Because I've heard people saying I need work-life balance, but if you look at the life now, someone is actually staying in one room, watching a television, which you cannot watch with two eyes. You're supposed to close one eye in order for you to watch that television. And the bed is actually squeaking, and you're saying you've got a life. No. I've heard one of my brothers, Dr. S. Chirisa, he's actually said, if you are going to Kumusha during holiday, it was in December, that's not a holiday, it's a visit. Holidays start from Vic Falls. So I believe those who can afford to go to Vic Falls spend 5 days there. If you are still looking for an air ticket and you want the cheapest, that's not life.
Okay.
If you go you get into a restaurant, then someone is actually, if you still peruse the menu and they're looking at the price, that's not life. It's not yet work-life balance. Work until you cannot. You just say, okay, which one is the airplane which is available right now at the airport? I can go to Vic Falls, I can go to Zambia, I can go to UK. Then that's life. Personally, I just think that there are people who are supposed to sacrifice for the next generation. If you look at it right now, Africa is poor. We are poor, and I strongly believe that we are poor because of us. And if we're going to change that, there are people who are supposed to sacrifice, like how the liberators sacrificed for us to be where we are right now. If they're going to say they needed work-life balance, whilst they're actually fighting against the white minority, what was going to happen? We are also there. We need to sacrifice. We need to push for it for the next generation to enjoy. If you're going to have the next Dubai, I don't think people in Dubai were also they're building Dubai. They're actually having a work-life balance. I don't think the Chinese, that I had 40 years ago, China was actually, if you look at it, Zimbabwe was better than China. But right now, if you look at it, it's like, it's not even, you cannot even tell our kids that China, at one point, China was actually worse than us. So we need to sacrifice. We need to put in some hours. We need to work hard for the next generation in order for it to enjoy. If we're not going to do that, we'll continue complaining. We'll continue removing presidents, removing our leaders. But the biggest enemies of this continent, it's us.
Interesting perspectives as we fly on the wall in the chartered vendor's life. Quite unorthodox ways of thinking and ways of looking at life. He's gone on to write 3 books. The Chartered Vendor, which I read and have forgotten some key elements. But very, very interesting. It tells the story of how he grew up as an asthmatic young boy, and really struggled, and you fought against that. Let's talk about that a little, because you seem very much hinged on this, that you have to fight against the odds. You were asthmatic, and your mother naturally went to the school to make an excuse for you to be exempted from sports, but you wanted to play sports so much. And when you got to high school, that's when you ended up in the basketball team.
Yeah, Manicaland basketball team.
And you did so well.
Yeah.
Where did that drive come from? And what was that process like for you to say, this, which should give me the exemption, I actually want to go against it?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that fighting spirit, usually even when I was at school, when someone is number one, I'm like, okay, this guy has got 2 legs. I've got 2 legs. He's got 2 eyes. Why is he beating me? So what was happening was we're being abused because we're coming from the rural areas. When you go we're at a boarding school, and it was a high school at Maristi Brothers. And Maristi Brothers, during that time, there was a lot of bullying. And sometimes, if you were not strong, to finish the whole term without even drinking tea. That was the extent. Because so you look at it and you're a rural boy and someone is saying, no, basketball is for the elite, basketball is for the guys who are coming from Marara. Then I said, no, I've never played this sport, but I'm going to play it. I'm asthmatic, but I'm going to beat asthma and I'm going to get into the first five. That was the challenge. So I did that and people were surprised when the junior team was announced. I was in the first five from asthma. Then I went on to even play for Hartzau, and I ended up even being Manicaland captain at the first inaugural youth games. I think that was around 2004, if I'm not mistaken. So that was the extent. And what was driving me is to say, okay, if so and so can do it, why can't I do it as well? So even right now, that drive is what is still in me to say, I need to challenge the status quo always. It started during that time, and I think that's what is. Even when I was a vendor, people would come to me when I was reading. And people would say, why are you reading? School is now useless. You're a vendor. You're nothing. And I would say, no, check me after 10 years. I will employ you. And and the policeman who actually beat me under the foot. Just in August, was actually looking for a job from me because he's now retired from from police. So all those kind of stories, this is what I want. And this is what I believe in. Even those who say, Jerry, like many people came, like the story which you're talking about making people run. Hey, comment on it. Hey, you're going to lose sales. I tell you, we've never been busy like this. I think I wish if people could market that story almost on daily basis.
Pastor Justice Emmanuel Musharo on WhatsApp says, Jerry, well done, man. You have always been an orthodox thinker. I remember at Old Mutari, you always didn't follow the natural flow of events. May God continue to usher you into uncharted territories.
Thank you, Pastor.
Let's look at the books now. The Chartered Vendor, like I said, it gives us the account of your life on the streets, into the formation of M&J Associates. Now there is the Chartered Vendor, selling like a vendor. Yeah. What's this one about?
Okay, this one was because whilst I was building M&J, I still remember when I was going to Zambia, trying to start a business in Zambia. I got into Kenyan Airways. So I played a book which is called How to Be a Fierce Competitor, and I read that book almost every month. And it was my first time reading in 2020 because I'd only read Mufo's Sage before. So I started reading books in 2020. And right now, I think it's not an addiction. I play books even in my car and everything. So why the selling like a vendor? When I read that book, I noticed that the missing link which was there in my business was sales. And we're the first ones to actually introduce a sales team in a consultants firm. That's why we say the way we think is different. And when I did that, I saw things started moving to the extent that the business, I think, grew about 200%. So I started falling in love with sales to the extent that after, if I read probably leadership book, the next book which I read is sales. When I read probably a management book, the next book which I read is sales. So that's when I started consuming a lot of sales material, especially from Grant Cardone and Zig Ziglar. I felt in love with sales, and I saw that okay, this is I think it's a missing link in our economy, because I looked at it. Most of the companies, they've got sales teams, but they don't know how to run sales teams. I noticed that okay, fine, even on government level, you look at it, because we are saying sales is for everyone.
Okay.
Be it a DJ, sometimes you can be a very good DJ playing nice music, cracking a lot of jokes, but you're not popular. It's because you don't know how to sell. So that's when I said, okay, even how can I start selling? So I started selling even the books. I tell you, these books has actually built my parents a house. Nice house in Otsomba with everything, like it's a modern house.
Love to hear it.
From the book. So it's because of sales. Most of the people have published books, but their books are not selling. I tell you, almost on daily basis, we receive not less than $200 from books. That's how it is. Because why? That's selling part of it. So that is what is in the selling like a vendor. I'm saying everyone is in sales.
Yeah.
Be it a president, be it a pastor, be it a DJ, be it an engineer, a doctor. If you look at it right now, If you're a doctor, you're going to be taught medicine in school, but they don't teach you how to run a business. And when you open your surgery, the first person you want is a patient who is a customer. And they were not taught how to sell. Hence you see that most of the people who are owning successful hospitals are not doctors.
Without turning this into one of your coaching sessions, let's go to the last book, Sales Equals Mjolo.
Okay.
40 game-changing ideas to elevate your sales game. Explain.
Okay, that one, I was in Zambia, then I saw this couple. So I noticed how they were actually doing things. I started saying, okay, fine. If you look at it, sales is equivalent to love relationships. So I've got this, the other edition of this book is coming out, I think, this week. It's called Sales Equals to Love Relationships. Because why? The books now have gone international. So some people are now saying, what's Mjolo? I've read a lot of questions from people from Togo. So in order for me to continue explaining, I say to myself, let me change it to sales equals to love relationship to simplify it. So if you notice sales and love, there are a lot of comparisons which are there. If you want to marry someone, you need to first prospect. You need to state the qualities of the wife which you want. Because at the end of the day, if you're not going to state the qualities, you end up just taking anyone. And same applies with even business. If you start a business which is targeting everyone, if it's not a consumer product, that's a problem. When consultants business, we should have our target market. We should have quality. So I was comparing, it's a story of a doctor. This doctor was at Maristi Brothers. I knew that people from Maristi Brothers so I just took a story from from the doctor. So the doctor got into use it, 7 years medicine, and he never had a chance to really get into relationship courtship. So when he finished, the mother started saying, no, I want him Rora. So he said, okay, how am I going to be doing it? I'm a doctor, I'm a qualified person, I've got money, but it's tough for me, the terrain is tough. So that's when he started now, that's where the story is starting. And when he's going to prospect, he states the qualities of the lady. I need someone who goes to church, etc. That's when, so I'm comparing that story and sales up to the end.
Interesting. And now that you yourself are also from Marist Brothers, let's look at your personal life. Are you a romantic guy?
I don't know.
How would you rate yourself as a husband? You're successful in sales. You talk passionately about sales. But let's talk about that side of your life as a husband. How well would you rate yourself?
I think probably 99 because I don't cheat.
I like that.
I sometimes I also work with my wife, but most of the people don't know. Because most of the people, they don't know if I think about 5 businessmen have actually offered my wife a salary they wanted to take away from M&J, but anyway, it's a story of another day.
Indeed.
So, but I love my family. I love my life. I love my wife. That's
fantastic. We're going to have to cut it here, unfortunately.
No
but
problem.
Thank you so much. People can follow you, confirm, on the Chartered Vendor on social media.
Yeah, I'm on all social media platforms. YouTube. They've got also a podcast there, and every social media platform and there.
The Chartered Vendor, remember, according to him, we are all in the business of sales. On that selling note, he is hoping that you have a fantastic week ahead. It's 3:00 on your number one station. Time for the news.
This is Zim Paper's Radio Broadcasting News.